All right, y'all. We should be live here. We should be live. Let me know for sure. How's everything sound? Audio good? Is the video good? Are we live? Oh, let me know here. Um, what is up, everybody? Good morning for some of you guys. It might be afternoon if you're over in like the UK. Uh, it's like evening over there almost, but good morning, everybody. Oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Do we have a lot to talk about? And do we have a potential storm next weekend that we are now watching as well? Do we have a potential storm next weekend? But welcome everybody. Please smash that like button for me. Really helps get my stream out there. And comment where you're watching from. I always want to know, where is everybody watching from? I want to see where you guys are watching from. And let me know, what's the temperature at your house? What is the temperature at your house? Let's see what the temperature is at my house. The temperature at my house is 21 degrees right now, and by tonight, we're going to drop down to about 6. So anywhere between 6 and 13 inches there. That's a big window. So my confidence in the storm is beginning to slightly waver. So waver, that doesn't mean it's gone, but I'm not quite as confident as I was last night, potentially. But we got to see how this all goes. But what is up, everybody? St. Charles, Missouri. You're 8 degrees in St. Charles. Roadster, Jim, what's up? Amanda, Blackout, Lydia. How's it going, everybody? Tucker, what's up? Kansas, 6 degrees. 4, where Lydia's at. Northeast Ohio, 12 degrees, feels like -2. I think our feels like is in the negatives here. I believe our feels like is in the negatives. I think we can see here. The HRRR might give us a good idea. What is our feels like right now? Our feels like right here is like 5 degrees. So we're not quite in the negatives, but we're about to be. We got 5 in Northwest Ohio, Seattle Metro, 29 degrees. Man, that's cold enough for y'all to get some snow out there. I know Seattle can get their snowstorms. Go Seahawks. And then we got Hawaii in the 70s. Oh, I'm so jealous. Sitting in Hawaii, 70 degrees. I do love the cold and I love the snow for a little bit. Then after that, it gets old. And I want to see it get warm. We got Central Illinois, -3, 27 in Tulsa. I might be in Tulsa chasing tonight. We'll see. Minnesota, -12. We got feels like -12. Okay, well, it's really cold everywhere. I mean, look across the north. We got wind chills near -40. Look it up here. This is like Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, like -55 degrees up there. And you can see these wind chills are going to drop. I-44 corridor, I-40 corridor. You're going to be in the negatives by tonight. Okay, so let's get into our forecast here. One model I'm going to start with is the HRRR model. So here's the deal with the HRRR model. It's not a bad model. It's a very good model, but the problem is it has its biases, and I'm thinking that it's a little bit too dry with this storm. The HRRR model is definitely starting to make me doubt some of my higher end robust forecasts, but like I said, it is a little bit dry. So, all right, but here's the RRR. Okay, this evening, wintry precip by 6 p.m. Let's see. Let's get the pin out here. There we go. By 6 p.m. Here's our line of wintry precip. It's going to march north. Here's the deal, guys. There's a lot of dry air up here. There's a lot of dry air up in northeast Oklahoma, northwest Arkansas, southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri. Dry as a bone. Up here. A lot of dry air. And I'll show you guys this. Why don't we go down here? Southern central U.S. And here's the snow coming in. So you can see when the snow comes in, it takes a little bit to fill in up here. So we can take a sounding. This is at 8 p.m. I'm going to take a sounding up here by my house. Okay. Here's the problem. The dew point is negative 22. Temperature is 12. That's a 30-degree difference right there. More than that, actually. More than a 30-degree difference. This dew point needs to come over here, and this temperature needs to come over here, and they need to meet each other. So this dew point and temperature, look at all this dry air. This green line needs to be touching the orange line. It's not. Look at all this dry air. So as we get moisture in here, this red line's going to go like this, and it's going to go back here, and then this green line's going to come over and meet it. So it's dry as a bone. So now I'm going to take a sounding in the same spot, but move 5 hours into the future. If I move 5 hours into the future, they get closer. This is a problem, though. It's still really, really dry this is at like 4 in the morning. At 4 in the morning, we should be getting snow up here. So the fact that it's going to be this dry is a little bit concerning to me, and I think that it could cut down amounts on the initial wave, which could be a problem for some people's forecasts. You can see down here in northwest Arkansas, a lot better, a lot more moist. So what I'm worried about is, as far as snow goes, southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri, far northeast Oklahoma, I'm worried that you're going to kind of have a sharp cutoff right in here because your air is going to be so dry to the north of here. Now, eventually this dry air will fill in. I don't know how much farther we can run this model. We can't go any farther, but if we go to the other one and go a little farther, if we go to 6 a.m., look at this. This is Joplin at 6 a.m. You can see by 6 a.m. Joplin, your lines are much closer together now. See that? By 6 a.m., your temperature dew point line, they have gotten closer together. So at that point, you're getting a decent snow. So that's my worry with this thing. But let's go to the HRRR and let's play it out here tonight. Okay, Oklahoma City, you're going to start with freezing rain or sleet. You're quickly going to switch to snow. Quickly switch to snow here. So by about 10 p.m., Tulsa, you're still going to have to saturate the atmosphere, but Tulsa, you're going to be getting in the snow late evening by 9, 10 p.m. Oklahoma City, it's going to be a little earlier. So me and Garrett are trying to figure out what the heck we're going to do as far as chasing goes. There's a lot of options. This is such a big storm, and it's a long duration storm. There's a lot of different strategies that we can play, and it's hard to say which one's the best. Right now, our plan, we want to make sure we stream tonight. So we think that our plan is to go down to Oklahoma City, Tulsa area and stream down there tonight. Maybe we end up making it to northwest Arkansas a little after midnight. That's our plan right now. And then our plan is to wake up Tulsa, northwest Arkansas, wake up with heavy snow, 6, 7, 8 a.m. down there, and then follow it east towards the Ohio Valley. And then we're hoping, you can see the HRRR kind of has this, see this little, so notice the dry slot here on the HRRR. We talked about that dry slot last night. Look at how much smaller the dry slot is. There's still a dry slot in here, but it's a lot smaller. Last night's HRRR, it was like twice as big. So it's a lot smaller here. The dry slot's a lot smaller, but our plan is whenever this dry slot comes through, we can kind of follow the dry slot and we can get up somewhere in the Ohio River Valley to chase Sunday. So our plan is, this is kind of what our plan is right now. Our plan is to kind of, and let me know what you guys think. Where do you guys think we should chase? So our plan is to kind of hit this stuff tonight and tomorrow morning. Hit this stuff tonight and tomorrow morning in this area so we can get 2 streams out of this area tonight, tomorrow morning. And that's the first wave. And then when that second wave comes in, here's the second wave coming in. And then our plan is to hit the second wave up here somewhere where it's more favorable. Because the second wave is going to be hitting down here in the evening. Up here, it's going to be hitting or in the evening and overnight. Up here, it's going to be hitting in the daylight. So our plan is to get the second wave up here in the Ohio Valley. So this is what we're thinking. I think that we will be able to traverse from here to here Saturday during the day. Worst case scenario, we get stuck down here, but that might not even be a bad thing, because if we chase northeast Oklahoma tonight and we get stuck down there, that means that they got a lot of snow, and that means that some areas down here are probably going to approach record territory. So I guess it wouldn't be the end of the world. I mean, we'd be chasing a historic snowfall down here, but our plan is to kind of hit here and then move up there. So that's our plan. And then we got to watch this. Look at next week. This is next Friday. This is a week from now. This is a week from now. So this is going to change. This is a week from now. This is going to change, but there's a big signal for a storm a week from now across the south. So that's Friday. If you go into Saturday, look, Saturday, big storm, Mississippi, Alabama. So who knows? This could be up, for all we know, this could be up here again. This down here could be up here for all we know. This is 8 days away. So it could be over here. It could be over here. It could not be there at all. But there is a strong signal for something in this region next week. There's a pretty strong signal, and possibly even this region right here if it moves up the coast. But there's a strong signal for next week, so that's something to also watch. Strong signal next week up there. I mean, look at this. This would be insane. Atlanta would be shut down for a while. And then there you see it does move up the coast. And then gets a little quieter towards the end of the run. But there's a big signal for next week. So we won't focus on that right now. Come Monday, we'll start to focus on next week if something does end up happening. But you can see the HRRR, it has a nice second wave here from New Mexico all the way up here, but it's a little bit weaker and farther south. It's supposed to be a little farther up here. It's a little weaker and farther south. So we'll see if that's just like a little kink that the HRRR has right now, if it's going to get worked out or not. But what's up? What's up, Chef Andy? We got Lydia in here. Derek's in here. Amanda's in here. Michael, Jim, Kenna Rose. What is up, guys? Yeah, that would be a big deal next week. So here's why. I'll show you guys. Let me break down why it's going to be such a big deal, or that we're going to have a good shot. So here's our upper level map. We'll do the upper level. This is kind of like the vorticity up in the atmosphere. So you can see here's our system this week. Here's our system this week. Slide through. You can see multiple systems kind of phasing together. And then here we go. Look at this. Cold air. You can see this dives southeast. We're going to have cold air and probably a snowpack. Cold air with a snowpack sitting down here. So the cold air is going to be in place. And then here, look at this system across the west. It rotates. It digs. And look at that. It digs right along the coast. It digs down here along the coast. Moves northeast, and you have a bunch of cold air in place up here for snow. So the question is where is this trough going to dig? Is this trough going to dig up here? Is it going to dig all the way down here? Like, what's going to happen? We don't know yet. We don't know yet. That's why there's a lot of uncertainty. So, and then you can see it digs and then it moves up the coast. So it might not be that robust. It might not be that big of a deal, but there is going to be something to watch. If we go look at other models, they also have it. We can go look at the Canadian model. There's the system this week. Here's look at the Canadian model. It looks very similar to the GFS. A lot of cold air in place, digging trough. You're going to get a snowstorm. So the question is how fast will that trough eject and where is it going to dig? But it's looking more and more likely that there could be something to watch. The Euro isn't in yet, but we can look at the one from last night. Look at the Euro from last night. It also has a system, a little bit weaker. You can see has a system down here that traverses this way. A little bit weaker of a system than the other two. So, how strong is the system going to be? Where is it going to eject? How far down is it going to dig? But here's what we do know: the cold air is going to be in place. You're going to have all that cold air in place across these areas. So, yes, the extreme cold is going to last. I'll run through this one time here, show you guys our temperature anomalies. So, this is how far the temperature is removed from the normal temperature. So, here you go. Look at this. Here's our storm. Look at these. Look at these temperature anomalies in the south. Really cold day by day. It just stays so cold. Stays so cold. Get really warm in the north. It's really cold in the south. Stays cold for literally 2 weeks. Stays cold. I mean, I just went through a 2-week model run here. So it's going to stay cold for a while. So let's look at some of our models for these systems. Here's the icon. There's that wave tonight. There's that second wave. It kind of looks a little bit more like the HRRR. So we'll have to watch this. New York City, DC, you're up here, you're right on this slate line right here. So we'll have to watch this. All right, let's look at the HRRR for this evening. I'm going to focus a lot on today and tomorrow because that's what we have in range here. All right, let's see. This should go out. So, Oklahoma City, right now, the HRRR thinks you're going to be mostly snow tonight. HRRR and the RAP think Oklahoma City, you're going to be mostly snow tonight. As we go to about 4 a.m. tomorrow morning, you can see steady snow across Oklahoma, northwest Arkansas, southwest Missouri, southeast Kansas. You're finally getting snow at this point, but you can see, look, this snow is built all the way back to the panhandle. So this first wave is kind of back building. So this snow in the panhandle, it's still going to be over here by like 10 a.m. to noon. So if we need to see how this first wave really performs, and that'll tell us a lot of what's going to happen. So we need to see how this first wave performs. There's a pretty consistent signal that by late tonight, parts of Kansas, 3 to 5 inches of snow over here. But we need to see how this first wave performs. So if you look at the HRRR this morning, this is a little bit inflated. So don't pay attention to this right here, but it has a general 6 to 9 inches across this area right here. So if this area can get 6 to 9 inches of snow tonight, and that second wave also drops the same amount, then you're talking 12 to 18 inches of snow for the storm, which is very reasonable. So we need to see how much snow we get tonight to know the ceiling of the storm. All right, we can look at this model too. The RAP, it's still snowing at the end of the run here, but we can go over to the Ohio Valley. So here's where we're planning on covering Sunday. So we're planning on going Oklahoma, Arkansas tonight, and then we're planning on moving east Saturday afternoon. And here's the snow Saturday. There's going to be a little bit of snow Saturday night. It's mostly going to be Kentucky. So Saturday night, your heaviest snow is going to be Kentucky. Ohio Valley, it's going to be a lot lighter. But then as that main wave comes in Sunday, that heavy snow is going to shift all the way up to about hot, heavy, moderate snow up to Columbus, Indianapolis. So the question is, though, there is a question on this north side. There is a question of how far north that storm is going to get. We can look at Memphis here on the HRRR. You may start, in Memphis, you may start with snow. The HRRR shows you guys starting with snow here in Memphis. And then you switch to sleet around mid-morning. And that sleet line stays just north of that line of snow and sleet is just to the north of Memphis. So if this moves south a little bit, Memphis could be having big issues tomorrow. And then Memphis, you get all that snow and sleet on the ground, and then you get freezing rain on top of that snow and sleet. Going to be a big problem. Same with Little Rock. Same forecast. But I am very concerned about icing in this whole corridor right here. I'm just extremely, extremely concerned about icing in that whole corridor right there. But you can see here's the HRRR moves that second wave in. And even by this only goes out to 6 a.m. Sunday, you still have a lot of snow out here that's coming up this way. And all this stuff is coming up this way. So that's our plan. Hit here tonight, here tomorrow, go up here, hit this all day Sunday for like 12 hours. That's our plan. So you're in the Cincinnati area, you're nervous. I wouldn't be nervous. I mean, it's just snow. I mean, I would be if I was in the ice zone to the south, I would be a little bit more nervous about the ice zone than the snow zone. But I wouldn't be nervous about the snow. This is what I would be nervous about. I would be very nervous about this. Southern Arkansas, Northeast Texas, Northern Louisiana, Shreveport, Pine Bluff, Hot Springs. I would be nervous about that ice. Greenville, Mississippi, you're going to get a big ice storm. Same with Oxford, Mississippi, big ice storm. This even shows a decent ice all the way down to Alexandria, Louisiana. So this is something to watch. Out here, Lubbock, Midland, Odessa, Dallas. I'm worried about the ice for you guys. Farther north, the snow. Now, next week, you could certainly get snow down here. But should we determine? I think the euro is coming in. So let's look at the euro. So like I've said, the euro I've kind of thought was kind of the best for this storm. I'm losing a little bit of faith in the euro because the HRRR and some of the other models are kind of saying, okay, maybe the GFS was doing okay. So it's a little worrisome, but let's see if the euro caves or if it stays strong. I'm really curious to see what it does here. Okay, so here's tonight. Heavy snow across this area tonight. Look, tomorrow morning, you still have some good snow across these areas here, but it moves east. And as that first wave moves east, it's going to lose a little bit of it. So the euro, tomorrow evening, heavy snow bands, I-44. Really heavy snow, central Oklahoma. Heavy snow, I-44. Really heavy snow, Ohio River. I mean, the euro doesn't cave. I mean, it kind of stays with its prediction. It might have cut down a little bit. The euro might have cut a little bit off on the far northern end. There's a lot of dry air. But, I mean, at least for down here and up here, the euro is not really cutting much off. So that's very interesting. It's staying pretty strong here as far as totals go. And then you can see, look at this. You're going to have 2-inch an hour snowfall rates in New York City, Philly. And eventually New York City, Philly, that sleet is going to get up and mix in with you guys. But at least for a while, you're going to get heavy snow. You can finally see by midday. And even by midday, you still have snow lingering across Missouri, Arkansas. Look at this big, heavy snow that comes into Cincinnati and Columbus, Dayton area there. Boston, you get close to the this low. We talked about this low. Where's this low pressure going to track? That's important. How close to the coast is the low pressure going to track is a big deal. So we can look at we can go to our close view up here. Look at where this low pressure is. This low pressure is right down here. So a little bit farther from the coast, you're going to see all snow right here. A little bit closer, you're going to see rain, freezing rain right here. So that low placement is important. It feels like Boston, you're going to stay all snow. Let's look at some amounts that this model puts out. It might be overdoing it, but no, I think this is pretty accurate. Philly and New York, 7 to 10 inches. 7 to 10 inches, Philly, New York. And the reason why you're not going to get a foot plus at this point is because that sleet mixes in. So you might get an inch or two of sleet on top of that, though. But that sleet mixes in. Up here, Hartford, Providence, Boston, Springfield, Worcester, I don't know how to pronounce that. You get a little bit more snow here because that sleet does not mix in. You don't get that sleet. So you get a little bit more snow up here. Same with obviously up into up north here towards Albany. Same deal. Let's look at Ohio. The Euro is still pretty confident in a foot of snow, Dayton, Columbus. So I don't know. Some of the models are making me lose confidence on that. Same with Cincinnati, but the Euro is holding strong. It's still extremely confident in that. Let's move down here. Okay. Euro still very confident. Louisville, Evansville, Bloomington, Indy. It's still, this is still high confidence. This right here, all these snow totals, the other models aren't really showing that as much. So if we can go to the GFS, look, here's a Euro. Got a foot of snow up here. If you go to the GFS, you got a foot of snow down here. But look, St. Louis, 7.5. Indy, 8. Bloomington, you're right on that line. So see how the Euro and the GFS are, the GFS goes bigger down here. The Euro is a little bit further north, spread out. So there's a big difference here. Still we're 24 hours out from this storm over here, and there's a huge discrepancy still. Okay, so the Euro downtrended quite a bit for my area. You can see last night it was showing. Oh, that's the GFS, not the Euro. So the Euro did not downtrend for my area. The Euro still shows Tulsa getting like their record snow. Joplin, Springfield, Northwest Arkansas thinks you're going to get the most snow you've gotten in 15 years. GFS is a little different. This is interesting right here. Euro's putting 20 plus inches right here. If these areas looked like they were going to get 20 plus inches, I would just say we should just stay down here and chase the whole storm in Oklahoma. Oklahoma City's getting 20 inches of snow. That's like, this honestly might, for these areas, this might be the record breaker if they got this much snow here. Do I think that that's going to happen? No, I think that this is a little bit too bullish, but it keeps, we're less than a day away and it's still putting this output out. Like at this point, if it wasn't going to happen, or if there was a very low chance of it happening, it would have moved off of it. So there's a chance. This is in the realm of possibilities. I think that these are overdone. I think they're going to be closer to like 12 to 15 in some of these areas, but it's in the realm of possibilities. And the other thing with Oklahoma is you never know how much sleet's going to mix in. You never know. If you get more sleet to mix in some of these spots right here, this 20 is going to turn into 10. This 19 is going to turn into like 8. You see what I'm saying? So up here, I'm not worried about sleet, but down here, worried about sleet. But it could be all snow down here. According to the Euro, I wish the 18Z RRR was out. I don't think we're not gonna be live long enough to wait for that because that's not gonna be out for another hour and a half. But I wish it was out. But see, there's tonight, heavy snow. Tomorrow morning, it lingers around. Here's your break. About noon tomorrow, here's your break across this big area. And then here it comes. There's band 2. So here's the difference. The Euro is really bullish on round 2 compared to some of the other models. Look at round 2. This is Saturday evening. You have heavy snow from Childress up to Oklahoma City. Lawton, you're right on that winter battle zone. You will eventually get over to snow. But heavy snow, Oklahoma City, midnight, heavy snow. Heavy snow, Tulsa, middle of the night. Joplin, heavy snow. Still, by 6 a.m., heavy snow holding on here in eastern Oklahoma. You still have moderate snow out here. Elk City, Childress, that's moving up this direction. And still, hold on to the snow until noon, and then that night, yeah, you're gonna drop into the. You're gonna. This is your feels like, but you're gonna. It's gonna feel like -20 Monday morning. So, it's gonna be freaking cold. It's gonna be freaking cold. That's what I do know. That's the one thing I can confidently forecast is it's gonna be freaking cold. So it's just we'll look at the Rufus one time. I don't know if Garrett, I don't know if you're watching. I know you're driving down here, but Garrett, I'm looking at the Rufus to make you happy. So the Rufus model, I call it the doofus model, but yeah, what is up, everybody? How's it going, man? Adam, what's up? Gumball, how's it going? Missy, what is up? Jerry, what's up, bro? How's everybody doing? All right, guys. Let me know. Are you expecting snow at your house? Let me know. Are you expecting snow at your house? And if you are, how much snow are you getting? If you're getting ice, how much ice are you going to get? I want to hear in the chat. How much are y'all going to get? Let me know in the chat. Make sure, smash that like button. We have almost 90 people in here now. Let's get to 100 likes at least. Maybe we can get to 150 likes. I don't know. But smash that like button for me. Really helps me out. And I'm a little bit exhausted from all this thinking and forecasting here, but I'm just excited for this storm to get going so I don't have to forecast it anymore and I can worry about, okay, what's actually happening. Well, I want to see the storm actually start to happen and I don't have to worry about forecasting every little step. But we'll look at the Rufus here. Overall, we'll kind of break this down. But yeah, let me know, guys. I'll read some of the chat too. Let's see here. Can you go over Nashville? I will go over Nashville. Yeah. Hey, one other thing, guys. Remember, drip your pipes. Drip the pipes. You're going to want to make sure to drip the pipes. It's going to be really, really, really cold. You're going to want to drip those faucets. We already, at my house, we already have all the faucets dripping because it's only 20 degrees right now, which really isn't usually cold enough to make that stuff burst. But you're going to want to drip them because it's going to get below zero. So Goldsboro, North Carolina, 1/4 inch of ice. I will tell Garrett hi for you, Amanda. No idea. You've seen anywhere from 5 to 15 inches. Well, the National Weather Service forecast for my place is 7 to 13. There's a big diff. I mean, I don't know if 7 inches is a good amount of snow, but there's a big difference between 7 and 13. So we'll see how it all plays out. Yeah, G guy hasn't been in the spot or been in the chat, guys. I want to show y'all something funny. Let's see here. I want to show y'all something funny I posted. Look at this. What do you guys think? I thought this was funny. Hopefully people don't take it too serious. No, I did not drink the Crown Peach. I don't really drink at all. I'm probably just going to give that Crown Peach away to somebody, but I thought it would be funny. It's getting decent engagement, but there you go. That no bread, no milk at the store, but hey, they had the essentials, so that's all that matters. And then look at the look at the shelves. I showed this last night. Look at the shelves at Walmart. So if they were like this last night, I can't even imagine Walmart today. People around here, I mean, we could get 7 inches of snow. Like, people take it so serious. Like we're probably gonna get more, but I mean, literally, like, really, guys? Like, really, like, empty everything out, I guess? I don't know. But all right, let's break down the Rufus here. So here's the Rufus. All right, there's our snow tonight. Heavy winter precip by 9 p.m. Heavy winter precip across these areas, filling in, and light snow in Kansas. But that light snow in Kansas will add up over time. So heavy snow tomorrow morning, and then it moves out late morning. The Rufus is a little bit more. I'll say this, the Rufus is a little bit more bullish on this dry slot. It has a little bit bigger of a dry slot. You can see the low is down here, and you're going to have all this moisture move up, but it's a little bit more bullish on that dry slot. A little bit more bullish on the dry slot there. But then you can see by late evening, that second wave rolls in Oklahoma. And then as that second wave rolls in, the dry slot farther up here in the Ohio Valley kind of subsides. So someone was asking me for Nashville. According to this, I think this is somewhat right. Nashville, you start with some snow tomorrow morning, late morning, early afternoon. Nashville, you're going to start with some snow. You're going to quickly transition to some sleet. Then you're going to get the ice. So Nashville, you're going to get a little bit of everything. You're going to get a few inches of snow, a few inches of sleet, and a little bit of ice. And then this model shows Nashville getting smoked with ice, but you're right on that line towards Sunday afternoon. You're right on that line, but you can see by Sunday, this is Sunday morning, sorry, but Nashville, you're kind of right on that line. You can see up here, Northeast is getting thumped. DC, you're going to get heavy snow on the onset in DC area up to Philly, but then it's going to quickly transition to sleet. You'll take the steak, you'll take the Crown Peach. Yeah, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, you know. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Da, 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 da. Yeah, so but look, there's going to be a big ice problem. Most of central Texas, northeast Texas, northern Louisiana, most of the southern half of Arkansas, the northern half of Mississippi, Alabama. I think Alabama, you're going to avoid most of the issues. The far north part of Alabama will get some problems, but you're going to avoid most of the issues here. The other problem for ice is going to be out here. So like I've talked about 100 times, you have your Appalachian Mountains right here. So what happens is on the east side of the Appalachian Mountains, you get moisture to come up and you get this cold air that gets trapped down on the east side of the mountains. But on the west side, you're able to get more of that warm air to come up. And that's why Knoxville, you're in the worst spot if you want to see winter weather. You're in the worst spot in Knoxville because look at this. You get this you get out here in Knoxville, you get all this warm air to filter in up here. And it's cold on the other side, and then it's cold over here on the other side of the system. So Nashville, you're in like the worst spot here. But let's look at totals here. I don't know. Let's see totals for snow. Okay. A foot of snow in Oklahoma City. Foot of snow, Tulsa, Northwest Arkansas. 10, 11 inches, Joplin, Springfield. 8 inches, St. Louis. 9, 10 inches, Columbus, Indianapolis. So if this happens, Louisville, you're close to 12, 13. And then up here, the roof is a little bit stronger up here. 18 inches, Massachusetts, New York. So if this happens, this is what you're going to see. A little bit of disappointing numbers up here towards Kansas City. This is kind of your low end amount up here. Same with up here. A little bit of the lower end up here. This is still, people down here, if they get a foot of snow, are going to be disappointed, but it's still going to be a really good storm. But yeah, this is kind of right. Like you're probably going to have a max total somewhere out here. You're probably going to have another one over here. And then you're probably going to have another one up here off the coast a little bit. So you're probably going to have 3 areas that could hit the jackpot. And then there's going to be a spot in between right here that doesn't see as much. And another spot maybe right here that doesn't see quite as much, but you're still going to see a lot. So as far as ice goes, ice might be the most like a foot of snow in these areas that don't get snow very often is a big deal. But the thing is, like, it's a weekend. Most people are inside. So most people are inside, not out. The big problem is the ice. This is where your real issues come in. If you get 2 inches of ice down here, big problem. 1 inch of ice, big problem. So as far as ice goes, we have massive problems. And you can see here on the ice map, you can see here, look, you can tell where the warm air comes up on the west side of the Appalachians. And you can see where that cold air gets stuck on the east side of the Appalachians. So you can see that, and then you can see the fine divide here. So it looks like Jackson, Mississippi, you're right on the line. Vicksburg, you're kind of right on the line. Greenville, Mississippi, you might hit the jackpot for ice, which is not a good thing. Same with Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Little Rock, right on the edge. Memphis, right on the edge. This has Memphis over an inch of ice. And you're also going to have snow and sleet. So a lot of these cities, Dallas will be shut down. Austin will probably be shut down for like half a day. Lubbock will probably be shut down. Abilene. Everything is going to get shut down. I don't know a lot of the cities over here, but you got Raleigh somewhere over here, Greensboro, I think, Winston-Salem. So you're going to get major icing over here. Even DC, the ice is trending up for the DC area, I believe. A little bit of an uptrend for ice in the DC area. Just south of DC, it's showing an inch of ice. So DC, you're going to have to be careful if you get that snow, and then that snow gets like down on the ground, and then you get the ice on top of it. That's going to cause some big, big, big problems. So yeah, I mean, if you're going to get a foot of snow, like it's a big deal. You might get snowed in or stuck or whatever, but I think the real issues are going to be that ice, because the ice is what gets expensive. That's what gives you power outages. That's what cripples your economy for a few days. Snow will do that too, but the ice is when you have the big, big, big problems. So, oh my gosh, I had you guys on the tablet. I just flung my tablet. But that's where you're going to see the big issues here. So, I don't know what other model. Oh, I don't know what. All right, am I back here? I think I hope I'm back. I hope I'm back. I really hope I'm back. I don't know what the heck. I don't know what the heck happened, but okay. We should be. Dude, my foot hit my extension thing, and I just like when I well, all right, we'll see if we can. No camera though. Is my camera back, or is it just frozen? Is it? I think my camera should be loaded. But let me know if it's not. We're gonna look at some of these other models here for some of these areas here. What gives us? There's not a good sector to really view everything here, but we'll use this one. Maybe we'll look at this. No, we'll look at we'll look at this one. All right, here's a different model. This model is a little bit more bullish than the HRRR is on the stuff tonight. Is Garrett in here? Bro, the stream is good now. The stream is chill. The stream, bro, my foot literally hit my little cord and it unplugged. Either unplugged my cord for like half a second or it just turned off my outlet. But you see tonight, this is the NSSL. Tonight, this is the NSSL model. You have heavy snow tonight, but this is 10 p.m. 10 p.m. You have heavy snow, but we're notorious for it, so we're going to see if it happens or not. But this is pretty bullish. I mean, look, even tomorrow, you have tomorrow at noon. Tomorrow at noon, you have another burst of snow across this area right here again. This is at 11 a.m. tomorrow. But then by noon, and here you go, by 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock, you have more heavy snow that comes up into these areas. A little bit patchy, but it fills in by late night. You have heavy snow. You can see there's some banding in here. There's some bands up here. There's some more bands down here. There's more energy back here, but it's a little patchy, but you can see it really starts to fill in. And then you can see there's still stuff moving in. But where we want to be at this point, Sunday morning, we want to be over here. See, they're going to get a little bit of snow with this wave tomorrow, but we want to be over here ready for all this to come up so we can stream it during the daytime. But there's longer if we were still out here, we would still get to stream in the daytime, but it wouldn't be for as long. So as far as amounts go with this model, this only goes out to 6 a.m. Sunday. So remember, it's still going to be snowing at this point. But if you got 12 to 15 inches in here, by 6 a.m. Sunday, and you're still probably going to get a couple more at least on top of that at this point. That's a pretty good look. This model's a lot more bullish. Look, it's got 9, 10 inches up here too. You're still snowing here. This model's much more bullish. And then even at this point, it probably already has 6+ inches across a lot of the Ohio Valley too. Yeah, has 8 to, a lot of this is from the first wave down here, but the second wave is going to come right up here. So wherever these two waves can overlap, that's where you're going to get the most snow, wherever both waves overlap. And that goes for down here too. Down here, wherever the waves can overlap is where you're going to get the most snow down there as well. So this model's more bullish on it. If we look at the GFS, if we look at the HRRR, okay, there's NSSL. Here's the HRRR. Little less bullish, especially up here. Up here you got 5, 6 inches of snow. The other model has 9, 10. It's a big difference. They're both pretty bullish down here and right in here, Lexington, south of Louisville. And then you can see that wave is coming up. So we'll have to see which one's right. I have one more model to show you guys. We'll look at the ARW is the other one, I believe. Yeah. And it looks, the ARW is also more bullish than the HRRR. There's your snow totals at this point. So there's tonight, 9 p.m., heavy bands of snow working in OKC, Tulsa, starting to work up here tonight. You have heavy sleet, Red River, southeast Oklahoma, and then you have so your icing event is starting to get going down here in Texas at this point tonight. Roads are going to be pretty treacherous. I think they'll be passable, but they'll still be pretty treacherous. Can't hear me? Internet blackout? What? Can you? Am I good or no? It feels like my internet's working fine. If it's not, well, stinks. Here we go. Tonight, tomorrow morning, there's your snow. There's your other heavy band of snow. Really heavy snow tomorrow night. Bands sticking around for the morning. And you end up with a solid 10 to 12 inches of snow across a lot of these areas from this model, with still a couple more inches at that point. So that would be a pretty solid storm. And you go out here, you're at 6 to 7, 8 out here in the Ohio Valley at this point, and you're probably only like halfway done. You're probably going to pick up 12 plus. If you're sitting here Sunday morning with 6, 7, you're probably picking up like 12. So am I good? Am I good now? Good afternoon, Marianne. Am I good, guys? Let me know. Is my connection good? Am I bugging out? My stream cutting out for like 3 minutes might have cooked me a little bit, but we'll see. I know it's the middle of the day. A lot of people are not able to watch. That's why I do like to go live at like 10, 11. I feel like more people are able to watch. But I got this beanie line. You guys like this? What do you guys think of this look right here? But yeah, I'll wear this beanie to chase the snow. I don't know if I'll wear the LSU hoodie, but I'll wear this beanie for the snow maybe if it's too cold. The important ones are here are the real ones. Yeah, guys. To be honest with you, if these briefings start doing well and I can make a little bit of money on the side, I would love that. But I'm just doing this for fun. I'm really just doing this for fun, and I want to try to find a purpose for my YouTube channel. So I'm just doing this for fun. So this is fun for me. Like if there's a week where I just don't want to go live, then I won't go live. But if there's stuff going on and it's fun for me to talk about it, I'm gonna go live. If we have another storm coming up next week, guess what? Probably gonna be live a lot this next week talking about this other storm. But why don't we look at the other storm? Just because I want to. Let's look at the other storm on the Euro. Let's see what the Euro does. All right, here's our wave coming through. All right, cold air. Look at that. Cold air. There's our system. Wow. The Euro really dives this system pretty far south. So I haven't looked at the precipitation, but I'm assuming that you have a snowstorm somewhere in these areas because you have a lot of cold air sitting down here. So we could be talking about Gulf Coast snow. I mean that. I don't say that lightly, like for real. Oh, so the energy never really comes together. So the energy dives too far south and kind of miss. See, the energy is too far south. See, on the Euro, it dives so far south that it ends up being over C. But you still do get some winter action in Texas. You still get some winter action in Texas, which for Texas, even a few inches of snow would be pretty crippling. But and then as the storm maybe moves up, the Euro doesn't go far enough out. But if the storm dives down here and then moves up, I'm assuming there's enough cold air out here that you could get some snow if this moves up the coast. But this is so far out. I mean, this is 200. This is 240 hours out, so I wouldn't pay attention to it. But guys, there's a signal. There's a signal down here for snow in this area. There's a signal in this area for something to slide up. So does it go too far south? Who knows? But the cold air is going to be in place, and we're going to have some kind of system to watch. So that's the next thing to watch. So I get 80 likes in here. Let's get to 100 likes. Smash that like button, everybody. All right. One more thing before we get out of here. I'm going to answer some questions in the chat. Give me some locations that you want to know a forecast for. I'm going to answer it the best I can. I'm going to answer it the best I can. But yeah, give me some locations in the chat, and we'll break it down for you guys. I got 6-7 viewers in here, so there we go. Needed a refresh. Yeah, guys, and if you're in some of these rural areas across the South, there's a GFS with that snow. So the GFS brings that low up and it's stronger. But if you're across some of these areas that are going to get the ice, and especially if you live in a rural area, maybe outside of towns, you probably already know this, but prep for like a week just in case without power, because you just never know. So what time is it? 13. So we should be getting, I'm looking at these HRRR runs every hour because I want to look for trends. Okay, one thing I'm going to say about this. All right, the HRRR is really dry right now. I'm going to show you guys why I think that. So the HRRR is right now at hour 0. If you guys can see that, it's at hour 0, and it's showing it's whoa. It's trying to show the current. This is kind of the current precip. This is what it's showing. And there's also some precip up here in Kansas. Now, this precip up here in Kansas, it's like we talked about at the beginning of the video, very dry, low levels. Not all of this is hitting the ground, but there are people reporting snow in Kansas already. So here's what happens. This is the HRRR initializing the current environment. If I take this an hour into the future, it's now model. So this is current. If I go an hour into the future, it's now model. Watch. If I go an hour, look, it disappears. In an hour, the HRRR disappears, all that in Kansas. This is pretty accurate. It's pretty accurate with this stuff, but it disappears all this stuff in Kansas, which tells me the HRRR is much too dry up here. So parts of Kansas up here tonight, potentially, you may overperform what the HRRR is currently saying if it's off on the moisture. It's a little dry right now. It's a little off, which is not uncommon. See, it doesn't even have precipitation developing up there until after evening. You already have some moisture trying to get going. You already have some of that trying to get going. So, and it just takes it away. So now eventually, obviously, that moisture is going to push up, and you're going to get, I mean, by midnight, you have a solid snow happening across all these areas. And even before that for Oklahoma City, this is at 9 p.m. Oklahoma City, you're getting, by 9 p.m., your HRRR has you getting heavy snow. So now amounts will be a little bit delayed because that snow has to work to the surface. But once it works to the surface and your atmosphere becomes saturated, then your snowfall rates can hit their potential. If that makes any sense. Yeah, there's light snow falling. I could show you guys if I had the radar up, but So here's your cold air. Let's just watch this sink down. Cold air. Tonight, low. This says a low temperature around 3 at my place. Oklahoma City down to 5. This is a big. I'll show you guys. This is a big difference here that I'm noticing. So let's go out. This is 11 p.m. tonight. Let me make sure I didn't just kick my thing again. It's 11 p.m. tonight. Here's the current run. I want you to look at this trend. It's kind of holding steady. Earlier it was so it's getting a good look at it, but if we go back to the runs last night, or if we go back to the runs yesterday, look at the runs yesterday. That Oklahoma City's at 15 degrees. If we go to the runs today, 12. So you can see everything is trended a little bit cooler now. It's all trending cooler. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some of these areas pick up more snow. But you can see as that moisture comes, Oklahoma City, you initially switch to snow, but as that moisture comes north throughout the night, you might go back to the sleet line. So that's why that Euro showing 20 inches of snow right here, I'm not so confident in it, because you're going to be on the winter battle zone. It's really smoking parts of Arkansas here after midnight, 1 a.m. up here. So you can see that moisture come up, and how much moisture there is with this first wave is going to be crucial to the storm. So, all right, guys, let me answer some of these questions. Mount Airy, North Carolina. Yeah, if I answered you last night, it probably isn't. My answer probably won't change too much. Mount Airy, North Carolina. All right, I'm going to start answering some of these, and then we'll get out of here. So we've been live for about an hour, so that's about what I was planning on. Okay, so you're up here northwest of Greensboro. See if the Euro's loading out yet. 12Z. No. But we can look at the 6. Okay. Mount Airy, you're like up here. You're going to get maybe some snow to come in, maybe snow or sleet at first, and it's going to start tomorrow evening, so around dinner time tomorrow. And then you're going to transition to ice tomorrow night. You're going to stay ice for most of the event. You might get some rain to mix in at the end when that warmer air gets up there. You could mix in some rain, but because that cold air from the northwest is going to get trapped on the mountains, but you're also going to have some cold air that's already in place trapped on the east side of the mountain. So I'm very worried about ice at your place, Mount Airy. I'm very worried about ice. We got someone asking, what do I actually think Tulsa's going to see? I think Tulsa's going to get, if I had to, I don't want to go too crazy. I think that Tulsa, I would expect 10 to 15. 10 to 15. I know that's a big range, but I'm not confident enough to put the minimum above 10. But I am confident enough to say that it's definitely possible you could get into the 15 range if everything plays out right. So 10 to 15, probably a foot on average around Tulsa. We got Alexandria, Louisiana, north of that. You're going to be getting ice. But where that ice line sets up is tricky. The Euro, if the Euro's right, you're not going to get much ice. You're mostly rain. If the GFS is right, you're going to get more ice. Experience with these situations is ice line is usually a little bit farther south than what some of the models say. So I would say Alexandria, you're right on the line. You need to really watch it. I think that you're not going to have as bad of an ice storm as some of the areas further north, but I still think you're going to get some ice. So you got to be careful. My house, a little bit less than Tulsa. I'm going to say about 9 to 13 at my house. So if we get that, we'll probably have our biggest storm in 15 years at my place. Effingham, Illinois. Where's Effingham at? Oh, I forget. I was literally in Effingham to chase tornadoes. Okay. Effingham, Illinois is a really tricky forecast. Okay. So the Euro, if the Euro's right, Effingham, Illinois, you could get up like to a foot of snow. If the GFS is right, it has that line, that north line, a little bit farther south. So Effingham, you might only get like 4 to 6 inches if the GFS is right. But I'm gonna just say at least, I'm gonna say right now, it's gonna be one of those things where once the storm is happening, we'll get a better idea. But I would say for Effingham to be safe, I would say about, I believe that's east of St. Louis. Let me make sure. I think that's east of St. Louis. Yeah, just to the east of St. Louis. Right now, Effingham, I would say to be safe, I'd say 5 to 10. 5 to 10 would be my forecast. If things trend favorably, I'd up it to like 6 to 12 or something, 7 to 12. But if things trend less favorably, I'd say like 4 to 6, 4 to 7. So it's just it's a big mystery with a lot of these places right now. It's a big mystery with a lot of these places right now. Yeah, Burlington, Kansas falling. I'm helpful. Everybody appreciates it. Well, I appreciate you guys here. Paul Ann, what's up? I appreciate everybody in the chat. It really means a lot to me. If I didn't have anybody watching me, then well, there wouldn't be any point in me going live. So I'm glad I at least have a few dozen people who want to watch me. Lubbock, Texas. We got my uncle in the chat. What's up, Onk? Lubbock. I'm thinking for you guys. I hate to say this, but mostly sleet and ice. Mostly sleet and ice for you guys in Lubbock. But models are showing on the back end of the storm, you could switch to some snow. So maybe late Saturday night, you switch over to some snow and you get 3 or 4 inches of snow, but it should be a lot of ice and sleet. Regardless, the roads are going to be nasty. So I'm going to say probably like a 1/4 inch of ice, Lubbock, 1/4 inch of ice, maybe like an inch of sleet, and then a few inches of snow. That would be my guess. But it is not easy to say. It is not easy to say. But you can see here, Lubbock is right in here. You can see models have a pretty solid ice event tonight, tomorrow morning, and then you get a break. And then tomorrow night, more stuff comes in. And then look, it could actually not that it could, it will switch. You will get snow on the back end there. So for Lubbock, I'll say 1/4 inch of ice, an inch of sleet, and maybe 3 or 4 inches of snow. So maybe more if that snow switches quicker. We got Tulsa, Oklahoma. Like I said, Tulsa, Oklahoma, I'm thinking 10 to 14 right now. There's a lot of questions with the dry air, but Tulsa, 10 to 14. You could deal with a little bit of sleet. So if you get a little bit of sleet in there, it's going to cut your totals down more towards the 10 range. If you get all snow, it might be more towards the 14 plus range. But I believe if Tulsa got 14 inches of snow, I think that would maybe be their second biggest snowstorm ever. Definitely the biggest in the last 15 years, but maybe the second biggest ever. Connecticut here. Yeah, Connecticut, you're going to get, it depends on what part of Connecticut. If you're close to the coast, you're going to get some of that sleet, and that sleet is going to cut down. That sleet is going to cut down your snow. But that sleet will cut down your snow. But if you're up inland, you're going to get like a foot plus probably up there in Connecticut. Yeah, Lubbock's going to get a little bit of everything. Probably Oklahoma City, Little Rock, Memphis, Nashville, DC. You're all going to be on that winter line right there, kind of the battle zone there. So we've been live for an hour at this point, so I'm probably going to wrap it up soon, but we still got people in here asking. So Fort Worth, mostly ice, and Fort Worth, you're going to start rain and you're going to switch to ice tonight, and you're going to be ice tomorrow night as well, and then you might get a little bit of snow or sleet on the back end, but mostly ice for Fort Worth. And it could be a bad ice storm there from Fort Worth over towards like Shreveport, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, Greenville, Mississippi, Oxford, Mississippi, up to Nashville, parts of western Tennessee. Could be a bad one in terms of ice, and it also could be bad here, like we talked about. That cold air will get trapped on the eastern side of the Appalachians. Could be bad over there as well. So, but this is just a big storm in terms of width. I mean, you got snow all the way from New Mexico to the Northeast, which is not common. So, yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Northeast Connecticut, probably a foot of snow, maybe a little bit more if you guys get lucky. So, One more time, I'm going to go over the chase plan one more time here. So I will be live on Storm Runner Media probably tonight, but if not tonight, for sure multiple times tomorrow and then into Sunday. So here's tonight. We're planning on hitting Oklahoma tonight. So we're planning on being anywhere from Tulsa to Northwest Arkansas, Oklahoma City area tonight. So we're going to be in here tonight. We're going to chase this 4 or 5 hours, probably around midnight or a little bit after. We'll give it up so we don't get too tired. And then what we're going to do is we're going to wake up in the morning again. And at that point, there's going to be more snow on the ground. This is 9 a.m. Still some decent snow bands coming through these areas. We're going to try to follow it east throughout the day. We're going to wake up in the morning, follow it east, and then hopefully we can get up here. We want to get up in this area. And set up. So we want to start here tonight, tomorrow, and then we want to get up to this area. So we're hoping that dry slot, that break in the middle of the storm, that we're hoping that break gives us a chance to get northeast. You can see there's that heavy snow. Really, I mean, if this is what happens for Oklahoma Saturday night, you're going to be getting historic snow potentially. But see, you can see that heavy banding by daybreak, 6 a.m., Northwest Arkansas, all the way up to Louisville, Bloomington. You're getting into this heavy band. This is going to be the peak of the storm for these areas. Up here, your peak of the storm is coming up from the south. So you got all this moisture from the Atlantic slamming into the cold air, and it's going to ride up I-95. You're going to go from snow to sleet to ice, I-95. But then as you get north towards Boston, all snow. But that's the plan, guys. And then you still have these bands coming in by midday. You still have these bands coming up here. And then heavy snow for Ohio, parts of Kentucky. And then it kind of moves out by evening. So we'll be done by evening. It'll be a grind. But by that point, we'll finally be able to get some sleep. And then we got the next storm to watch next week. So we could have a storm next week. Texas. All the way in here. This is a big question mark. It could not happen. But so I'm going to put big question marks. But the cold air is going to be in place. Will we have the moisture? Will we have the system? That's the question. But in about 3 or 4 days, we'll know more. So I'm going to go ahead and get off here. I don't have any kind of streaming equipment with me on the road. So at least for the next few days, you won't see me live here. But you'll see me over with Garrett, Stormrunner Media. We'll be over there live. And maybe by Monday, Tuesday, whenever the heck I get home, if I ever get home. We'll see. It just depends on what the other storm does. But we might be able to go live again next week. So thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure on your way out, smash that like button. And I will see you guys next time.